Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Let's wait 2 more minutes. Hi, uh, good morning. We will begin now. Who dropped? Someone dropped. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. I'm audible, right? Can someone confirm? Okay, let's begin. So today we are going to discuss about a single topic. Um, Yesterday we discussed almost five topics together, and today we are going to discuss about just one topic, which is virtual machine. It's a long topic. Virtual machine, or GCE, Google Compute Engine. Google Compute Engine is nothing but a service provided by Google Cloud where we can create virtual machine. Virtual machine is nothing but the servers, which is Windows or Linux operating systems. You can create it if you want. You can migrate it from your existing environment, and you have apart from the traditional virtual machine concept, there are a lot of advanced concept in Google Cloud. This is our agenda: creating virtual machine, then compute options, CPU, memory, images, and a lot of other subtopics are there. Compute engine. It's nothing but GCE, Google Compute Engine. It always call us GCE, Google Compute Engine. We discussed about service models in the first session, right? There is on-premise setup, then IaaS, infrastructure as a service, then software as a service, uh, platform as a service. Three things we have discussed. And if you look at this compute engine, this part, it will come under IaaS, infrastructure as a service, which means here infrastructure, which means hardware infrastructure, which include the hardware like a physical server, virtualization, storage, networking. All these part will be delivered as a service. We don't really need to manage it. We are managing from the operating system level. We are just creating an operating system, and rest of the things we are managing it. Okay, we are from operating system. After creating operating system, installation of software, and deploying our code, hosting any application, all these things we are going to manage it from operating system. Backend of the operating system, including hardware infrastructure. Obviously, in cloud we are not managing in hardware, right? Hardware is totally managed by the cloud provider. So this is compute engine will come under infrastructure as a service, and we are going to discuss about other topics as well. GKE, app engine, cloud run, all these GKE, you can see it is IaaS and PaaS. So it's a kind of a mixed one. And app engine is totally PaaS, platform as a service. Here we are not managing operating system also. Even in cloud run, we are not managing operating system. From the platform we are managing. We will discuss this part later. Today, let's focus on compute engine. This topic will be our next session. Compute engine, infrastructure as a service. Um, in this topic, you can create different types of virtual machine, which is predefined and custom machine. I'll show you what it is while creating. With the either it is predefined configuration of CPU, memory, storage, and all these things, and also the custom, you can customize that configuration. Um, just like a normal virtual machine, it include storage or networking, and these are the two operating system it support, Linux and Windows. You have different flavors of Linux and different flavors of Windows as well. Different features of compute engine. You can create compute engine with the right size, different types of size. When I say size, it's a combination of CPU and memory, like for CPU 8 GB memory, 8 CPU 16 or 32 GB memory, according to your requirement. You can create it. You can integrate the cloud monitoring. You can add metadata scripts, startup scripts. Then live migrate. These are some advanced features. Live migrate, I will explain with the slides. Auto restart. Then global cloud, global load balancing. You can integrate load balancing with the compute engine. patch management, billing, different types of discounts are available with the billing, and some additional advanced features like printable spot instances, salt and note. There are some advanced features as well. We will discuss each part. So in this slide, is there anything like you are not aware or something like that in this slide? Anything new for you? All right, we will move on. So you have you can integrate CPU plus GPU as well. Just like normal compute engines, you can integrate the CPU and GPU. Also, another apart from CPU and GPU graphic cards, you have one more hardware component called a tensor processing unit. This is for AI ML related workloads. Tensor processing unit is for AI ML workloads. Different types of machine types are available with the combination of CPU and memory. Machine type is totally about CPU and memory. While creating, I'll show you. You can integrate disk, different types of disk. The normal traditional hard disk plus SSD, different types of disk you can um, use along with compute engine. Yesterday we discussed about different types of storage, right? In that I have mentioned about block storage. So this is a block storage, SSD or HDD, the storage which you are connecting with your operating system. That is a block storage. And always to create a virtual machine, it is inside a network. It is always inside a network. So here also we are creating inside a network. That's how your compute engine will get IP addresses. So you have a networking feature. We are going to discuss this in detail in upcoming topic only about networking in Google Cloud. So here you will be, even though before discussing in detail, you should understand that when you create a virtual machine, it is under a network. Different this part we will discuss later. Auto custom network, inbound, outbound, firewall, load balancing, all these things we can discuss later. We are just focusing on compute engine now. And after creating a compute engine, how do you access it? If you create Linux machine, you can use the protocol called SSH to access it. If you ever access a Linux machine, you will understand this is the SSH is the protocol which used to connect to a virtual machine from remote. If you are accessing from remote, obviously we are accessing from remote, right? And this is the uh, port number used here. Port number used to access SSH. If this port is allowed in your network only, you will be able to access it. Same way for Windows, RDP is the port which used to access any Windows machines from remote, and this is the port number which used to access. We will create a VM and move on. We will go ahead with the other topics. Okay, let's create a virtual machines with this knowledge. I hope so far it's clear. There is any question, feel free to ask. So as you already know, go use quick access menu or search button to navigate to compute engine. I'll just okay. All right. Here is the compute engine console, compute engine, and left side there are a lot of other subtopics. And create instance. Go to create instance, and there are a lot of options are available. Here we will start with your VM name. Okay, I'm just going to use web-VM, and we already know we need to select the region and so on. So yesterday, while creating a bucket, we spent a lot of time in bucket, right? uh, GCS storage. So while creating, we had an option regional, dual regional, and global, right? Three options: multi-regional, not global, multi-regional. Both are same. So three options were there. Here, when it comes to a compute engine, you will be able to create only in a zone. Okay, you cannot create a dual region or multi-region or something, because compute engine is limited. The scope of the compute engine is limited to a zone. So first you should select one. You have a lot of regional option here. I'll go with the US Iowa itself, and zone. Okay, some zone you can select. All right. Uh, any questions in this part? You cannot create a compute engine more than one zone. You can create a two different compute engine in two different zone or region, and you can have a load balancer in front of that. But if you pick one compute engine, that is the scope of that compute engine is limited to a zone. All right. Next is a very important one: machine configuration. So here, different types of machine, predefined machine configuration is available. Machine configuration is nothing but it's the type of hardware used in the backend. Okay, we don't have much control on the backend, but we can choose which type of computation you want. So this series is totally based on what kind of CPU and memory they use. So memory is common, CPU, mostly CPU platform. It's based on CPU platform. You can see here C4, it is Intel Emerald Rapid processors, C4A Google Axion processors. You can see, you can just explore this. Okay, AMD processor, different types of CPU platforms they are using in the backend. So you can choose according to that. Each CPU platform performance varies. Like you have documentation for that. If you wanted to compare, you can use it. This is a new processor, Google's on compute processors. If you want, you can use that as well. All right. So each one vary in the sense from 1.8 gigahertz to 3.5 gigahertz. Different type of the performance intensities it vary. You can take a look in this diagram. Sorry, in this document. Mm, Okay, you can read this in this sub document. You will get the speed also in each CPU platform. So that matters actually when you're hosting something in real time. That performance also matters. All right. So you can for us we just need a very minimal one. So I'll go with the E2. It's a low cost day-to-day computing. So I'll go with the smaller one, 2 CPU, 4 GB memory. And once you select this, see here, this is the place you will be selecting it. You can go with the standard. First, after selecting E2, if you come down, you can select the different predefined combinations. If you want standard, you can go with the C4 for CPU and 16 GB memory. You can see the total cost is increased. So I'll go with the smaller one itself. Okay, $25 per month. Any question in this part, machine configuration? Apart from general purpose, you have some additional advanced ones also, compute optimized. You can see compute optimized high performance computing workloads. Memory optimized, this hardware level itself. What is this in this compute optimized Memory optimized in the hardware level itself. It is optimized for compute workload, some memory workload, storage optimized workload, and also graphical intensive workload. You can add graphic cards like NVIDIA cards and all. You can add it if your application is graphic intensive. All right. I'll go with the small one. Mm, Any questions? This is very important. Machine configuration and machine type. All right. Either you can choose from the predefined machine type or you can choose from the custom. You can only create the count. I want a 4 CPU and 12 GB RAM if you want. You can select from custom. Right, I'll move on. This part we will discuss later. This is live migration, this little advanced concept. We will discuss later after creating this. So here, boot disk, we can select, this is where you select the operating system. Okay, boot disk. If you go to boot disk, go to change, you have different options here, public image, custom image, snapshot, different options are here. And this is nothing but the source of the operating system. Here, you can select different types of operating system is available, different flavors of Linux and Windows. If you go to Linux, for example, Red Hat Linux, you have Red Hat 8, 9, 2, 3, 2 flavors are there. Then if you go to CentOS, in only 9 is there. And if you go to Windows, you have different types of Windows server operating systems. Okay, not the one we use it in laptop. It is server operating system from 2016 to 2022 are available. 25 is set to release. All right. Any questions here?
No, Alex.
Okay. So here, if you select, I will go with CentOS. If you select operating system, you can see the size of the disk because along with operating system, one storage disk also will get create. In that disk only, the operating system is getting installed. So the size will get automatically, the minimum size will be automatically will get select. So if you want, you can increase the size or you cannot reduce it. It's automatically selected 20, right? You cannot reduce it. Okay. So you can make it 25 or 30 or whatever. Like you can increase how much ever you want up to 65536 GB. You can increase. This is the maximum size of a single disk in compute engine. Okay. Somewhere around 6.6, 62 terabytes of something. Okay. All right, I'll go with the minimal one. If you select any Windows machine, the minimum will be increased to some 50 or something. Okay, 50 GB is minimum. So I'll go with CentOS itself. It's a Linux version. Select. All right. See if you select some operating system, the cost also will change. If you go with the Windows, it won't stay in $26. It will be higher than 26. You can allow the traffic HTTP or HTTPS if you want. And the advanced option, there are networking security management options. We will come back and discuss in detail. If I explain all together, it will be too much. So we'll come back and discuss. I'm going to create the compute engine. It will take some 20 to 30 seconds only, not more than that. Okay, it's created. VM virtual machine is created. You can see in the zone US Central one zone A. You have one internal IP and one external IP. SSH, if you want to log into the VM, it is SSH. I'm just clicking into the VM. Authorize. See, normally you will be connecting to a VM using some other additional third-party software like Putty or something. But here you can log in from the browser itself. So here you can see web VM. This is the name I have given, and this is my email ID, which is used to create this Google Cloud account. Okay, so it is created as a user. So you can run some basic Linux command. Okay, and so instead of creating a very simple VM, we can do some more activity. We can just host a small software here. It is not part of GCP topic. I mean GCP activity. It's just a general activity. We can do it. We can just install some web package and host on very Hello World website. So I'm just going to install HTTP package. Okay. This is totally optional. If you want, you can do it. Otherwise, you can skip this part. Or if you're hosting something else also, it's totally fine. It's not at all GCP activity. It's a general activity. I'm installing the software using Linux command. If you are not familiar with Linux, that is also fine. You can create a Windows machine and log in into that. Everything is fine. Okay. You need to create the VM. That is important. So it's installed. You can see it's completed. Okay. And so the HTTP package we have installed, and we can just uh, make a very hello world kind of a website. So here I'm just making some change in index file. Welcome to hello, welcome to GCP. This is the content I am adding into the index file. All right, I have added. And if you go to the VM, there is an external IP because we are connecting from public internet. So we may need to start the service as well. Okay. So here, when I try to access from the public IP, I'm able to see the web page. You can also try this. I'm just dropping into the chat. Is it accessible to you? Can you confirm? Try to access and confirm.
Yeah, yeah, it is excellent.
Okay. So any question so far on what we have done? Is it totally clear or you are totally
And this
confused? Yeah.
this is HTTP, right? If I want to make HTTPS,
You need to add a certificate. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
The certificate, like, we can get it from Google itself, or
Oh, you can generate from some certificate manager. Okay.
okay,
As I said, this activity is just for some completion of the lab, like HTTP, HTTPS, it doesn't matter. What you're installing, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't install anything also, it's totally okay. It's just for your awareness, like how it's working. Okay. It's not a GCP task. Then this hosting website is not part of GCP task. All right. You can create a Windows machine and install some other software also. It's fine, totally fine. Okay. Okay, we will move on if there is no more question. So here, VM lifecycle, we have just created a VM, right? We have provisioned the resources. First, what are the tasks we have done in order? We have provisioned the resources, like after clicking create instance, we have selected all the configuration. That is the provisioning stage. And then once we click on create, there is a some 20 to 30-second times there, right? That is the staging time, basically. And after that, it started running. You can see it started running. VMS on running status. All right. That is the current status. So these are the general status. Repairing, sometime it will go on repairing mode if there is any internal error or something. Then you can keep suspended, stop, terminated. Okay, terminated, deleted. Technically, it is deleted, and you can keep stopping. That is power off mode. And system may take into the suspending mode again if there is any internal issues. So this repairing suspended. These are very rare case, and we won't be doing it. We won't be keeping in that state actually. These are the stages generally, like provisioning, staging, running, stopping. Okay, these are the general stages, life cycle of the VM. Okay, these are some commands. We will get to that later. Then availability policy. Okay, so here, while creating a VM, I mentioned, right, some advanced options are there. If you go down, advanced options. So here you can, well, a few options. Okay, one is you can enable delete protection. Delete protection, if you enable it, it will prevent from the accidental delete. Like if by a mistake, if someone is trying to delete, it will prevent from that. And there is an option to add a startup script. Okay, so I have just done one activity, right? I just ran some command. See, three commands I ran manually. So if you have a requirement where some softwares, like you need to install in all your VMs in your enterprise, for example, some backup software, monitoring software, and all, you may install in all your machines in your, if you have 500 or 1000 VMs, if you are managing, you will install in all the machines. So here you can add it in a startup script. You can totally add that script, like instead of right now I have ran three commands, right? That you can convert into a shell script or bash script or something. You can add that script here so that whenever while creating the VM itself, those software will be automatically installed. You don't need to manually log in and run the command and install. So you can specify the startup script. And encryption I have mentioned. Then Okay, I'm looking for one option. Give me a minute. Looks like that option is moved to somewhere else. Live migration option. Okay, it looks like that button is moved or something. I will check the documentation later. Maybe in the next session, I will explain that part, okay? Because it was supposed to be under the management. There is an option called a live migration. I will explain it later, whether they have retired that option or not. I'm not sure, okay? Last time it was there, like almost 1 month back also it was there. So we will skip this part. I'll check and get back to you on that. Patch management. In GCP automatically, if you are using the images, public images, the one we have used, it will automatically update the patches as well in the backend. There is a patch management tool in the console itself. And if you're using any custom image, you can use the same tool and update the patches. Like if in operating system, some new releases will be there, right? That you can test it and you can update it your own. Okay, if you're using the public image, Google's own image, this will happen automatically. The patch management will happen automatically. And when it comes to a stopped VM, if you are stopping a virtual machine from the compute engine console, so here if you have an option to stop, right? Currently it is in running status. Just imagine you stopped it. So what are the cost will be applicable? You can answer. What are the cost if you are stopping this VM? You're not deleting it, you're just stopping it. What all the cost will be applicable?
I think for added disk,
Yeah, disk. Like see, while running, you can see there is CPU, memory, storage, operating system. All these things we have selected. All these involve cost. IP address, networking. All these things involved cost. So if you stop the VM, what all cost will be applicable according to your logic? Any more answers? Okay. So normally if one VM is running, so how many of you are from this managing VMs? Like how many of you are familiar with this Linux virtual machines? Is there anyone totally new to it? Like if it is, and in that case, I will explain in little more detail. Because today, like there are more people and most of them you are silent. Yesterday it was more interactive. I hope you all of you are getting okay. Just feel free to ask questions anyway. So here, if you create a virtual machine in cloud, There are multiple areas cost involved. One is for the CPU and memory while creating that. That is a resource cost. Okay, while creating, you can see it is a resource cost. You can see here, right? At 25, 46 is CPU and memory. If you change it to something else, it will increase. See, $133 because it's a different platform, CPU platform. And the disk here you can see 10 GB balanced persistent disk. For disk also cost is involved. Just $1. If you increase the size, it will increase. So if you power off a VM, if you power off the virtual machine, CPU and memory you are not using anymore, right? If you stop a VM, CPU and memory you are not using anymore. So that cost, this much cost in this total $132 will not be applicable at all. Okay, only $1 only for the storage you will end up on paying because your operating system is installed in that disk. Your data is there, so that cannot be released or something, right? And that is dedicated for you. So your data is there. So the only for this one you will end up on paying. Plus, if there is any reserved IP, we are not using any reserved IP here. So we don't have to, if we stop it, we don't have to pay for that. A reserved IP in the sense, if you reserve, like if you in here it is a dynamic IP. If you make any IP static, we'll discuss that in later under networking. So if you reserve anything, you will end up on paying for that. Otherwise, only for the attached disk you need to pay. Memory and CPU you don't have to pay. So actions supported on a terminated VM, terminated or stopped VM, we can say. You can change the machine type or migrate the VM to another network, add or remove attached disk, modify the tags, remove or set new IP. Can't change the image of a stopped VM. Image changing means operating system itself changing, right? So that is not possible, except that a lot of modification you can do after stopping or terminating the VM. Lab we have done already. So you have different option to create the VM. One is through the Google Cloud console, and another one through the command line. From command line also we can manage many activities. See, from here also actually you can create the VM and all, but I'm not creating it. Google Compute Instances list. We can view how many VMs are running, and we can create it using the command. You can customize it, you can stop it. All the activities you're doing from the console, you can do from the shell as well. You can see, right? Gcloud, the compute instances list. You can do it, and you can see a lot of, like, if you want to see the addresses, disk, all the other features also, you can do it from the command line. And in yesterday's topic, all your storage you can view from the command line, that you can explore it. Okay. For that, the command is different. GSutil. It start with the GSutil. ls. I have deleted all this thing like storage, so I can't really show that. So you can explore some commands, basic commands you can explore, and you can see that as well. So gcloud compute instances list, you can see all the basic information of your VM. So from command line, you can manage it. So you can gcloud compute instances create and instance name. If you want, I can quickly show the demo. Instances create. I hope it's visible, or I will the top. Instances create. So it is asking for a default location, Asia Southeast. If you want, you can change it. Click on no. Instead of S, click on no. It will list all the available zones. You can select from that. It may fail sometime in this location. If there is not enough resources, it may fail also. Okay, there is an error. I'll select no because many locations enough resources won't be available for the free tier account. So US Central, I'm looking for US Central. Okay, 99. US Central is good for all the free trial account activities. You have a lot of resources there. Okay, 199. So it's created a VM. You can see my new VM. That's the name I have provided, and one standard by default it was taken, and internal IP. We can go ahead and verify from here. See, from command line, we have created one VM. Any questions in this? I'm expecting some questions.
So the operating system types and all we can customize it, right?
Yeah, actually, the operating system, see, nobody noticed I didn't select any operating system, machine type and all these things. It's all taken default. Okay. By default, what is showing that one is taken. Okay. All these are, I didn't select anything, right? I just created a VM. Okay, simply I created a VM. I didn't select any OS or whatever. It's taken default, but you can do it. You can create it. I will just give you a quick idea. There are, you can add more parameters in your command, and for all customization is possible. See here, if you go to create instance, some C3 or whatever, you are selecting many things, right? See here, you can create standard, many things you can select. If you go, if you just come down, there is a button, equivalent code. Okay, equivalent code. You are selecting, see, allow HTTP, I'm allowing, like a traffic, I'm allowing, default access, many things, custom things I'm selecting. If you click on this button, you will get the code which is customized for this particular custom virtual machine. See here, boot disk, I'm selecting something new. Just imagine uh, Red Hat Linux. Select. License is required. I'll go to PSU. Okay, see, when I select that this thing, so you can see the very long command. I just simply used a very G-Cloud compute create and VM name, right? So here you can see the equivalent code with all the details. You can see the project, service account, scope. It's a very long command. If you are doing some coding and all, you can use, you can just generate the command, and then you can customize it if you want. Machine type C3. So this button is very useful. Okay, you don't really need to remember all the command. You can use this button instead of that, and copy. Maybe you can copy, and you can, if you want to edit more, and or if you wanted to integrate into your existing some script like Terraform code or something, if you want, you can use it like this. So all the additional parameters are integrated. Or if you want, you can just simply run it in Cloud Shell. Just click on run it in Cloud Shell. It will go here and run it. So if you wanted to know the additional parameters, how you are selecting the image and all these things, you can just create your code like this, or you can create your command like this. Say create disk, and the disk details, global images RHEL 8, Red Hat 8. We have selected, right? This one. So you don't really need to look for any documentation or something to get the command. Just equal and code, click this button. Okay.
Yeah.
Closing this. Yeah. Yeah, that was the question I was expecting. So these are the two ways to create, and the third way is using REST APIs. Using APIs, you can create it just like I have showed in command, right? And API you can create it using a Terraform script or something. You can create it. That is the another way of creating it. In that, everything is integrated. These are the three ways of creating a VM, either from manually or from command line or using code. Machine family, machine type. This part I have already explained. So there are of different types of family: general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized. This one, okay, acceleration, GPU acceleration and all. See this part, machine family, general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, storage and graphic. Families, different families are there. You can see here, these are different families. And it vary depends on the region. In most of the US location, you will find all type of family. But if you go for some location which is recently provisioned, for example, Middle East and all, the recent data centers, you won't find all these options. Okay. So if I go with the C4A, you won't find it. You will get error. Okay. It is not available in this region. Choose a different region. So that kind of limitation is also there. In all the locations, all the features are not available because it will eventually get upgraded, but all the newly upgraded features you will find out mostly in US locations. But all the basic things will be available everywhere. Okay, all basic series will be available, not only for this topic, many topics. So even many things, many advanced, whatever they are trying, they will be trying mostly in the US locations. All right, you can see the workload E2 you can use for web apps, all these things, and to again say compute intensive workloads, memory intensive workload, high performance computing, all these are very costly as well. Memory intensive workload, SAP database, HANA database, OLAP, graphical workload for video transcoding, gaming related applications. So these are general things. So you can take a look. You can create a custom machine type. I have already showed you. Now, instead of choosing from the existing configuration, you can go with the custom configuration. Different types of discounts are available. This is important. It's an exam question also. Different types of discounts are available. Generally, billing is per second basis. Okay, per second basis. First 1 minute, if you create a VM in computer engine, this pricing part is very important. Okay, in the, almost all the exams, from the pricing concept, there will be a question either from pricing or from the discount part. Mostly from the discount part, you will be getting questions. Last week, I have appeared for my Google Cloud Digital Leader exam. Okay, I had that I have that certification already. It's a 3-year validity, so I was renewing it. I did it on 2021, and after 3 years, I was renewing it last week. There were many more than one question from the pricing part. Okay, not only for the digital leader exam, even if you go for architect exam or different exams, the pricing part is very important. So how the pricing works in computation? If you create a VM, you need to pay for first 1 minute for sure. Just imagine you created a VM and within 10 seconds you delete it. Still, you will be paying for 1 minute. Okay. Then per second, after 1 minute, it is a per second billing. So if you delete a VM at this moment, like you used a VM for 3 days, 4 hours, 32 minutes and 24 seconds, you will be ending, you will be paying in the seconds level. Okay, you won't be paying a single penny extra for using it. All right, so it is per second billing. This is very important. And first 1 minute you should be paying. And for what you will be paying? It is for the CPU, memory. Mostly you will be paying for CPU, memory, and storage. Okay, per second billing is for these resources, CPU, GPU, and memory, these resources. Then each CPU and memory, it's a totally different part. It will be billed separately. Discounts. This is very important. One is sustained use discount. Sustained use discount means you created a VM. These two are very important. Okay, sustained and these three are important. This we will discuss separately. These two just focus here. Sustained use discount means you created a VM today and you are using it for longer time. Okay, some 6 months or something you are using it. So for the first month, you will be getting some price. For example, $100 for 1 month you are getting. Okay, next month you will get some discount for sustained use because you're using it for longer time. So instead of $100, you may need to pay some $95 or something, some small discount. It will be automatically applicable. You don't have to do anything. Okay, for sustained use discount, you don't have to do anything. Automatically, if you are using some VM for longer period, apart from the normal pricing, you will get a discount. And committed use discount, if you're setting up an environment and you have planned to use that VM for 3 years or 1 year or 2 year, you're already sure that you're going to use for the longer period. Then you can inform the Google Cloud committed. There is a button. You can commit that I'm going to use this many VMs for this longer period. Then from the day one, you will be getting the discount, committed use discount. And printable spot, I will come to that later. Okay, this is about discounts. These two are very important. Sustain. The difference between these two are important. You will get a question from here. Any questions? And there is a recommendation engine, which means imagine you provisioned one VM with this one, right? See here, I'm going to delete this. See, we have provisioned VM with 2 CPU. Okay, so we have provisioned a VM with some example for CPU and 8 GB RAM, and it is underutilized. Just imagine it is underutilized. It is always using some one CPU and a 2 GB RAM. It is continuously, it is using only very limited than the provisioned part. Okay, so there is compute engine automatically it will recommend to reduce the size if it is continuously underutilized. If any VM is stocked continuously, you can check the reports always. 1 month report you can pull it out and you can always check it, and you can reduce the size. Or if it is overutilized also, it will recommend. And some free usage limit is there for some amount. There is some caps and all. It will now, for example, IP address and all for few hours, it will be free. After that only, it will be charged. So these are some standards of discount. It vary depends on the machine type. It's not totally, you cannot go with this. Depends on the machine type, the discounts vary. So here you can see general purpose sustained use discount up to 20%. This is up to 30%, depends on the type of family you use it. Let's see, sustained use discount increase with use. Okay. Another important feature of compute engine, very important one, which is preemptible VM. Preemptible VM means while creating a VM, there is a button. See, this console will be keep on changing. Okay, like if you are creating something today, after 1 month you will find that this option is moved to somewhere else. It is a common scenario. It will be keep on changing. Yeah, here it is. Okay, availability policies. If you look at here, first is standard, another one is spot. Okay, spot instances. This printable and spot are both are same. The word they have renamed it recently. Printable VM or spot VM. Even in questions, question in exam, like both will be used. Printable or smart spot VM. If you create instead of standard, if you select a spot VM, just imagine. See here, $25 is there, right? It is reduced to $10. So if I select spot VM instead of standard, it was 25. It is reduced to $10. This option is for low cost VM. Okay, they all whatever you are selecting that configuration, that selected configuration will be same, but you will be getting up to 91% discount on the total VM price. But there are some conditions. The VM will be terminated anytime. Okay, Google will take the VM back anytime. Okay, it will just terminate. Maybe when you are using also, it may terminate. You have some sub options here on VM termination. Either it's stop or delete. Okay, if you want, it will be stop, memory is not preserved. The point is, you will get a very low cost VM, but Google will take that VM back anytime. That is the concept. But what is the purpose of this in this case? If Google is terminating anytime, like how can we guarantee the usage? Why do you think, when what all kind of use, what purpose we can use this?
For
Like if we are
small batch
planning,
jobs and something that will run and complete.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
So for small batch jobs, the task, right?
Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah, next answer. Next answer. Somebody else also are answering.
yeah, yeah, I was trying to say that same
So the
thing.
same.
For,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. I was looking for one option, right? That I found it here. It was under management earlier. I'll come back to that. Okay. Okay. So this printable VM is for running some batch jobs or some task, like some data analysis task, which is imagine your data is in Google Cloud Storage. On our yesterday topic, your total data is located in the storage, and you need to do some data analysis, and you need to do that in low cost. Okay. But so in between, if the Google is terminating your VM, also it's totally fine. Okay. You are doing that, and because your data won't lose, your data is in some other location, right? So in that such purpose, where you need some, maybe you need some high-end VM to do the processing quickly. So you, instead of paying a lot to the high-end, high configuration VM, you can use the printable one with up to 91%. Okay, minimum 50 to 60% and all, minimum you will get it. You just saw, right? From $25 to $10 it is reduced. For high-end VMs, high config VM, you will get more percentage of discounts also. So even if Google is terminating the VM, if you're okay with that, you can go with the printable VM. And also the printable VM, it will be used in clusters, like in Kubernetes cluster and big tables, some clusters, you can use printable VM. So that in cluster, right, multiple nodes will be already available. So in addition to that, if you're adding printable VM, it will increase the computing capacity, and without much cost, right? Up to 91% discount, right? So without much adding cost in clusters and all, you can use it for temporary purpose. In data proc clusters like Hadoop clusters and all, you can use printable VM. This is the purpose of this. It is called printable and spot. Okay, both word you can use it. Okay, as I said, it is renamed.
so there was one point mentioned, right, for the
Yeah,
live migration, which is not
yeah,
supported.
live migration. I'm coming to that. So here I'll go with the standard one. So here there is one on host maintenance and automatic restart. There are two buttons. Live migration. We're discussing in the upcoming topic. No. Okay, this is a very interesting concept, live migration. Okay. So just imagine this is hardware. Okay, this is hardware, and we we have created VMs, virtual machines. Just now we have created virtual machine, right? So it is obviously on top of a hardware for sure, right? Our CPU, memory, and all we have selected here. And if you enable the settings while creating it, you can see on host maintenance, migrate VM, it is recommended. Okay, migrate VM, it is recommended. When compute engine perform periodic infrastructure maintenance, it can migrate your VM to another hardware without downtime, which means, see, if Google Cloud is doing some host maintenance, infrastructure maintenance, which is in the hardware level, imagine maybe some BIOS upgrade or some physical, some board is gone or whatever, either planned or unplanned maintenance is happening here. The VMs we created, right? This one, this VM or active VM. This VM will migrate to another. More than one VM will be there, like not only your VM, right? Many other VM also will be there on top of one hardware. So this will be migrated, will be moved to another hardware without downtime. That is important. It won't restart or it won't stop or something. Without a downtime, it will move. This is called live migration. Any questions from this?
So the printable VMs will not support for
Yeah,
this.
printable VM won't support. That is a temporary VM, right? Already it is temporary. It won't support. Printable VM you will be using in very less in number. Okay.
So if we enable this on-host maintenance option, will it affect in the billing? I
No,
mean the
no, no.
billing.
These are additional features. Okay. This is not this won't impact. See, billing, as I said, you will be charged for the resources, storage, and networking part. Like ingress is free, the egress is chargeable. That I'll discuss separately. Okay, these are the cost involved. Rest all whatever options you are selecting here, that won't impact the cost. As I said, this one. Storage, which include the operating system also, like if you are using Windows, the cost is different. If you are using Linux, in Linux itself, if you are using Red Hat, it is different. You can just select each one and check the cost. Come here and check the cost, but it is totally these three parameters only. This one, resource, storage, operating system, and networking. Okay.
Okay.
See, if you are using IAM to add some role or that and all, won't impact the cost. There is some backup option, or backup will impact the cost. Okay, in backup you are using additional storage, so it will impact backup, that we are going to discuss now. But these are management activities, it won't impact the cost. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, any question on live migration? Okay, next is, you can see host error timeout. If the VM become unresponsive, it will terminate after so and so amount of time. You can select the time if you want here. If the VM is if the compute engine is detecting if the VM is unresponsive. And the same way, if the VM is unresponsive, it will restart if you enable the automatic restart. So instead of going total crash, it sometime when reboot may fix the VM. So if you can turn it on or off, it depends on it. Even host maintenance, you can either you can turn it on or off, terminate VM. So during the host maintenance, if this is going maintenance, your VM will get terminated status for some time. But this is the recommended option. Live migrate is the recommended option. Any questions? These are some advanced features of GCP VMs, live migration and all. Very important, it won't go stop to state. It won't be stopping. That is more important to know.
So here in GCP, what type of hypervisor that they are using?
hypervisor name, that KVM hypervisor is used in GCP. Have you heard about KVM?
Yeah.
This is what used in the backend of GCP. Okay.
Okay.
Security hardened KVM based hypervisor. All right.
Yeah.
Drop the documentation. All right. Maybe you can read this also. See, there are a lot of videos available about data center in general, how the data, what all inside the data center, cloud data center and all. Let's see, a lot of workshops are coming. Gemini. Okay. Give me a minute. Another important feature is sole tenant node. Okay. It's very interesting feature. Sole tenant node. See, now we have just created one VM, right? It is on top of a hardware. That hypervisor is there, and your VM is here. You just now this green color VM we have created, and maybe some other customers. Just imagine this is your organization, your enterprise VM. It is created here, and maybe some other customers VM also will be there in the same hardware. You can see on top of the same hardware, some other customer. This one, this orange one, the gray one, customer 3. Different customers VM also will be there in the same hardware, same physical hardware, the physical server. It is possible. Okay. But if you want, you can use the entire hardware for your purpose, only for your VM. You can see this VM1, VM2, VM3. It's all your VMs, your organization VM in the same hardware, which means you can bring the entire physical hardware for your purpose, for your usage. Okay, what is the purpose of that? Why do we need to do that? Why do we need? We can just spread it across different hardware also, right? Anyway, but everything is in same data center. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, for some specific banking or any secured environment organizations they may use.
No. Security is same, no matter if you use single hardware or different hardware, because you will be, your VM will be in whatever you use here, that the same thing like firewall, all these things, it is there here as well. It won't really much make much difference. Security part is not the reason. So in that case, we will say like this is, we are compromising the security here, right? That's not like that.
Okay, so the customer itself can manage that
No,
if they have dedicated certain. Okay.
no. So brother, you're going to do some migration, right? You need to focus here. Okay. How many of you worked in databases, Windows machines and all Windows? Others are silent, Ankur, Nilakant. Are you there? Are you guys there, Ankur, Nilakant?
Yes,
You're getting right
yes,
everything.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do work on the database side.
Okay. Anyone worked in VMware or Windows or something? Okay. So there are two reasons you need to host your all virtual machines under same hardware. One is for some performance critical workloads. Okay, performance critical workload where imagine one VM is communicating with the another VM. Okay, maybe if this VM is getting some data from VM4, if these two are hosted in two different hardware, there is a latency issue, right? It should travel, the data should travel over the cables and network cables and all these things. There is a performance issue. But if all your VMs are in same hardware, for example, data analytic workloads or gaming related workload where more than one VM will communicate each other. So all kind of delay, if you avoid, it will give you a better performance. So that is one reason. The second reason is you can see here, bring your own license. If you are doing some migration from on-prem to Google Cloud, there are some software, for example, operating Windows operating system and some database software and all. Their license is connected with the hardware as well. You see if you spread your VMs on too many hardware, their license won't support. Their license maybe that license is for 10 VMs and two hardware. Okay, two physical hardware only that license will support. So if the 10 VM is in 5 hardware, then that license, your existing license cannot use it. So those who are going to do migration, this thing you need to consider. This part you need to consider. If you have, if your license is connected with your hardware, then while migration, after migration, you cannot use your existing license if you spread your VMs across many physical VMs. Okay, these are the two reasons. One is performance intense workload, then license. If you are using your own license. Is that clear? There is one more security related VM is there, shielded VMs, which offers some additional security, secure boot in the RAM level itself. Encryption is there. Normally, encryption is there in all storage part, but in RAM, whatever the content you save it in RAM, right? That there also it is encrypted. It uses virtual trusted platform module in the backend hardware. It use more secured module integrity monitoring. It is called shielded VM. Confidential VM allow you to encrypt the data. Of course, the data is always encrypted. Okay. Now we have few more topics. One is image. We already discussed this while creating. We have selected the image. So let's discuss a little more about it. Public images. You can see a lot of operating system here. These are provided. Public images are provided by Google Cloud. Okay, totally it is provided by Google Cloud. You can use any of these images, but in general, large enterprises won't be using the public images provided by Google Cloud, because in large enterprises, they'll be having their own custom security things will be installed in the operating system. OS hardening will be there. So because of these reasons, the public images won't be used. So large enterprises, but you can use it if it is a small enterprise or no. You can use it also. This is also these operating systems also. It is optimized for Google Cloud. Okay, this even though it is common CentOS for Google Cloud, they have added features that image only they are using it. Another one is custom images. As I said, many enterprise they will create their own custom image. They will add more features, more softwares inside the operating system. More security modules will be installed. Monitoring backup software will be installed, and they will create their own image. And you can use it custom image. It will, if you create, it will show here. If you create your own custom image, maybe today as an activity, if you are good with the OS image and all, if you have some existing image in your laptop or maybe some operating system, because here only Linux and Windows are there. Okay, you won't find Windows 10, 11 and all here. Okay, it is only server operating systems. But so if you have some image with you, you can upload that image. Okay, you can create custom image. You can go to this button, image button, and create your own custom image. So as an activity, you can do it. Create image. Okay, source. Where is the source? Disk snapshot. This you can do it from here itself. Cloud storage file. So if you have some custom image, you can upload into a GCS storage. So this is an activity where two services are included, yesterday's topic and today topic. So you can upload into some storage and no buckets here for me. So upload into the bucket and you can create the image. Okay, so if you want, you can create a custom image. And snapshot, archive snapshot and existing disk. So you can take a snapshot of your existing operating system and using that snapshot, you can create another VM. Same way with archive snapshot, these are just two types of snapshot. This is low cost one. This is cost is little more. We are going to discuss about it. Existing disk. So if you have any unattached disk, like imagine you have only disk, this 10 GB disk. Okay, so here VM is not there, only this disk is there where operating system is also present. In that case, from that existing disk, some empty disk, from using an empty disk, you can, so here we don't have an empty disk. We have only one disk where it is attached to web VM. Okay, so using an existing disk also, you can use it as an image if the operating system is available. What is an image? In image, all the operating system features are there, not features, softwares are there from the bootloader, operating system, file system structure, software, and customization if you have any. All these things are included in that image. It's nothing like if you ever install a operating system in your laptop, the same thing. So public images, Google, third-party vendors, and community premium images. It's not the normal images, even though it is Red Hat, it is optimized for Google Cloud. So different Linux versions and different Windows version. Apart from Windows, SQL Server pre-installed Windows also available. The SQL Server on Windows. Custom, you can create custom image. You can give a try of creating custom image. Okay, I'll come back to this topic after discussing snapshot. Okay, machine images. Just remind me after snapshot, we will come back to this. Then only you will understand. Okay, any questions about image?
So images, right? this storing of image is by default in the bucket, right? So is it like
No,
create a
storing of image is not inside the bucket. Okay, if you're
uh-huh.
creating custom image to bring that image, you are just getting from the bucket. Okay, normally it is with the project itself. The images are already available. You are not paying for that or something. See, all these are already available. But if you're creating, if you want to create a custom image just to get that image into the project, see, imagine it's in your laptop. Imagine.
Mhm.
Okay, just to get that here from your laptop, this is source. You can choose only these four options. From your laptop you cannot upload it. You can see here, right? So first you need to upload to a storage file. Then from there you need to get it.
Okay, understood. But then if that image probably I will upload it in some different repository. Still, I have to download it and put it in
For
put it.
custom image creation, you have to do it.
Okay.
It's a one-time task. Like once you create a custom image, you can create any number of VM using that image, right? It's a one-time task. It's not. It doesn't work like a container image. Okay, container images are different. See, container image also to get into that container image in some repository, you need you need to do something, right? That steps only. It's here.
So just wanted to understand the image. Like okay, I have Docker, and then probably I will write the Docker file where I will use some operating system, and on top of that, I will have some other softwares, right?
Yeah,
IIS.
we are not discussing about Docker images. So we are
Okay.
talking about only the operating system images, the entire operating system. Docker
So that.
images are too small, right? It's a tiny image of that application.
Uh-huh.
But here
Okay.
we are talking about the large entire operating system. It include kernel, all the system files, everything. It's a large one, 1 GB, 2 GB images.
Okay. So that image we can only create using like in GCP or probably some other cloud, is it?
I didn't get the question.
So that operating system image we can only get only create from GCP or some other.
Yeah, the operating system image by default, Google provides some images here.
Mhm.
Okay, these images. Okay, these are standard images. If you are using your own image, you can create it also. Custom image, you can create it also.
Okay, okay, understood.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. That's about images. We are talking about the large OS images. Okay. Mm, Disk options. All right. Now we are going to discuss about storage. Storage inside the operating system. Okay. Not the Google Cloud storage. Inside the operating system means nothing but the disks. Okay, in your laptop you have SSD disk, normal hard disk, something will be there, right? So just like that, inside along with the operating system, the storage which is used, which is block storage. Yesterday we discussed about different classification of storage, right? File storage, block storage, object storage. So just like that, we have block storage here. See here, if you go to disk, you can see one disk which is created along with the operating system. So go to create disk. You have different types of disk available. All right. Yeah. See here, different types of disks available. The major types are standard persistent disk, SSD. Okay, these are the two major types. Rest all are subdivisions. Okay, standard and SSD. If you know about the disk, okay. First is hard disk, the normal hard disk and SSD. Do you know the difference between normal HDD and SSD?
Only
someone say?
about like SSDs a bit faster. They have different mechanism to read and write. Uh,
Right. I hope all are aware. Like, can you confirm?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a standard persistent disk means it is HDD, hard disk drive, the traditional hard disk. Traditional hard disk means if you inside the disk, there will be inside that hard disk case. Okay, this is HDD. Okay, this is HDD. So if you turn on your computer, this disk will be rotating. This particular disk will be start rotating, and this read and write head will be reading and writing the data, right? That is SSD, and sorry, that is HDD, and this is SSD. In SSD, there is no moving part inside. Okay, because of that, the performance is much higher. Like compared to HDD, it is 100 times faster than normal HDD. It is almost too fast actually, not just fast. Okay, because there is no moving part inside of SSD. That is the main difference between HDD and SSD. So here, if you look at the standard uh, is HDD, and this is SSD, SSD persistent disk. Rest all are SSD only. Okay, so here hyperdisk, balanced hyperdisk, all these are SSD only. Everything extreme balanced. So in SSD itself, you have a low cost SSD which is balanced. You have high end extreme HSD. Like we will go at the compare disk option. So here you can see the standard. If you look at 500 GB size, okay, in standard, the read and write operation, you can see 375, 750. And the same for SSD is, it is see 375 to 1500. So look at the difference. It is not even 10 or something. It is 50 times or 60 times faster than the normal one. 10, no, not 50. Yeah. Okay, you can calculate it. 375 to 15,000. 750 to 9,000, right? And throughput. Then balanced, you can see it is 3,000 because it is lesser than SSD and higher than standard. Extreme, again, it is very large. Okay, it is from here you won't understand. If you increase the size more, it will be actually more. It is for extreme operations. So like that, there are different types again for this hyper disk and all. Here also in the backend SSD only using, and it is optimized for some balanced throughput ML related workload for different optimizations are there in hyperdisk. Okay, hyperdisk is relatively new. See, network block storage service in Google Cloud. As I said, it's block storage designed for most demanding high mission critical applications. Okay, it is more optimized for high-end application. Okay, but in the backend also SSD only it is using. You can take a look into it. Customizable through customizable IOPS. You can customize the IOPS. If you go to extreme, you can select the speed here, provisioned IOPS. You can see, right? Provisioned IOPS. You can customize it. See here, from 2000 to 350,000 IOPS is available. So according to your requirement, you can customize it. That is the idea of hyperdisk, and even in extreme, you can customize it. So these are the additional features in hyperdisk. But in general, you have two types. One is HDD and next one is SSD. Rest all are its subdivisions. So persistent disk, that is what we are discussing. Boot disk, there are in disk itself, first is boot disk. That's where your operating system is hosted. VMs comes with a single root persistent disk. Image loaded, that is one disk is boot. This one, while creating the computer engine, you select it, right? That is bootable disk. Here also you can select the type, balanced, extreme, standard, anything you can select. Hyper is not available for boot disk. If you are adding additional disk only, the hyper disk and all available. After boot disk, you have the additional added disk where network storage, it is coming from the external storage. Okay, it is coming from external storage. You can take the backup, snapshot backup, you can take of that disk, durable. Even if you delete the VM, you can keep the disk. Okay, while after deleting the VM also, you can keep the disk, that is possible. Zonal or regional, either you can create a disk in zonal or regional. It is actually zonal only, but if you want a regional disk, you can create two different disks in two zones, just like yesterday it's Cloud SQL we discussed, right? You can have two different disks in two zones, and replication, you can enable replication between that. So your data will be always replicated. It will act as an one-side backup. Okay. So either it is zonal or regional option is encryption is always enabled. As I said, or any data related service, encryption will be there. Okay, HDD is magnetic, SSD is solid state, faster one. And apart from this disk, this persistent disk, okay, the disk which we are adding, that is actually coming from an external storage. Okay, it is not the disk inside this physical server. See, in the every physical server, there are some disks inside, right? It is not that disk. It is coming from an external storage. From an external storage, this hyper disk, all these disks are actually connected to the server. Okay, it is connected to the server and you are using it. This disk is actually whatever the disk, even for the operating system, the disk is actually coming from an external storage in the backend. Just for your awareness, okay. Even for the operating system, that is very important. Normally, operating system inside the server, the disk will be used. But in Google Cloud, even the operating system disk is also coming from an external storage device. Any questions in this?
No, Anish.
Okay, it is not only for Google Cloud, even in the traditional environment also. Most of the application and all these disks, we won't use the disk inside the physical server. It will be coming from an external separate storage like Hitachi storage or Dell storage from the external storage box. I hope you are aware about it. But if you want, you can use the local SSD, the SSD which is inside the physical server. If you want, you can use it. Okay, so here, if you notice, here you don't have this option. Disk type is, sorry, here you don't have an option here while creating the disk. So actually, if you want to use the local disk of your physical server, while creating the instance itself, you need to choose it. This is very important. It's an exam question. This part can be asked. While creating the VM itself, you have advanced option and disks and backup. See, add local disk. There is a button, add local disk. So why this is grayed out? Because it may not support for this VM type. So I'm selecting some other VM type. If I come down, again, it's not supporting.
I think for E2 it will work.
B2, I will go with, instead of shared VM, it won't support. Shared core, I'll go with the standard one. It won't support in the, you might have not have enough quota. Okay, I'll go with N1 standard. Okay, so some of the platforms it won't support add local SSD. So here you have option to add the local SSD. So here if you go disk capacity, here you cannot choose the size. While creating a disk, you can choose the size. If you want 25 or 35 or 85, whatever you can choose it. But here you can use the entire disk of that server. It's 375, or only from this list you can choose 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Either you can go with one disk, two disk like that. Okay. And up to 24, you can choose it. Up to 24, which is 9 terabytes. What is the purpose of using local SSD? Why do we need to use it? Why do we need to use this?
Maybe different purpose. Let's say I want to deploy an application and that application is generating logs which will get stored in the local.
That you can do it from here also.
Uh-huh.
Actually, read write IOPS and all, it's too high compared to the network attached storage. So see, whatever it is, this is coming from an external path, right? So if you have very performance intensive workload, you can use it. But there are some disadvantages also. You cannot take backup of this disk. Only the external disk backup you can take it. This one, it won't support backup. More IOPS, lower latency, 375. This is the standard size. Okay, up to 9 terabyte you can use it. Data survive a reset, but not for stop or terminate. If you turn off your VM, if you power off your VM, the data inside the local disk will vanished. Okay, it will clear. That is one thing you need to keep it in mind. So you are not supposed to use local disk for any permanent workload, only for the some mission critical temporary workload, some data analysis where you need high throughput, you can use it. Otherwise, you are not supposed to install operating system. That is not possible anyway. In installation is possible only for the persistent disk, not in the local SSD. Cannot reattach to a different VM because physically it is limited to one VM, right? So it is only for the high-end workloads. RAM disk, of course, you have RAM inside the operating system. So whatever is whatever you are actively using, those data will be in the RAM. So here is the comparison. Persistent disk, HDD, data redundancy, encryption, snapshotting, bootable. All these are possible in HDD and SSD. When it comes to local SSD, data redundancy is not possible because it's totally in local. Encryption is there. As I said, encryption is there everywhere. RAM disk only in the some shielded VM, encryption is there. Then snapshots. Snapshots are nothing but backup we are going to discuss now. This snapshotting is possible only here, not here. Persistent disk is used for general bulk file storage because it's low cost and the performance is also low. Here, any random operations, high IOPS and low latency. Maximum persistent disk in shared core you can add 60 and all other machine type you can add up to 128. Number, okay, this number. One disk size is 63 terabytes. So imagine 63 into 128, how much it is? Too large. That much is not required in a VM. Persistent disk management difference compared to a computer hardware normal disk. You can take a look. Not explaining much. Okay, snapshot. We missed a snapshot, right? Is it here? Okay. Backup options. It's not listed here. Fine. We discussed about disk, and now we're discussing about the backing up of that storage. It is important if you store some data to have backup as well. Here, snapshot is the service by default Google Cloud provide. So generally in an organization, it won't rely on snapshot backups. Snapshot backups are nothing but it's creating an image of your disk. Okay, as a single file, it will create as just an image of the entire disk. Okay, it is taking the backup of your entire disk. Create snapshot. You are taking the backup of your entire disk. Currently, a VM, web VM is the disk available. Okay. So here instance snapshot, archive snapshot, this is the standard one. And this will instance snapshot will quickly take the snapshot, or it is more fast. Archive snapshot, it is for long-term infrequent access data. So archive snapshot, this is a low-cost snapshot. So if you have a large environment, snapshot anyway, you won't be using in daily basis or something. Only if there is any data loss, you need to come back for the snapshot. So if you have a large environment and you need to keep the data for longer time, you can go with archive snapshot. This is the storage locations, storage types in the backend, what they use. So snapshot, you can keep it in either regional or multi-region. You can have your VMs in US and you can have your backup in Europe. That is possible. You can choose some different location, not only the where your VM is located. So totally different location. You can keep the snapshot if you want. Okay, it's as per your organization policy. Okay, you can easily take a snapshot. So I'll give you a task today. Take a snapshot. You create a VM. Okay, VM with whatever the we did this activity, right? So just like that, install some applications in your VM. Take a snapshot, and from the snapshot, you create a VM in a totally different location from the snapshot. Okay, don't use the existing image from the snapshot. So while creating, you have this option, right? Change from the snapshot. You can create it instead of using public image from the snapshot. See, snapshot is already there in a totally different location. So after making that customization role, after installing this application, just to take a snapshot using the snapshot, some other location you create it. So the same application you have available there. This task you can do it. Okay, not just a simple VM creation, just use this snapshot as well. And you can take the snapshot manually. Also, you can use the snapshot schedule. Okay, snapshot schedule. You can automate the snapshot creation either daily basis or hourly basis or weekly basis. Daily basis, you can select a time. Okay, night at 10 o'clock, the snapshot backup will be taken place for the disks. You need to add the disk in this schedule later. So, and you can keep last 30 days. This again based on your organization policy. Any questions about snapshot? It is very simple. Just create the schedule for automating the backup snapshot. It's all very straightforward thing. You can delete the old snapshots automatically. when I start working in Google Cloud, some 4 5 years back, this option was not there. Auto deleting snapshot. No, sorry, the snapshot schedule option was not there. Or automating the snapshot, that schedule option was not there. We had to create some script to schedule the snapshot. Sometimes that script fail, and sometimes some backup won't happen. It was a pain at that point of time. Later only they have introduced this button. So after that, we changed all the script, and all we have got rid of that script and started using this. Okay, that's about snapshot and snapshot schedules. So as I said, the snapshots will happen in the disk level. Normally large organizations and all, they will be using some third-party software for backup. Instead of snapshot backup won't be sufficient. They need file level backup. Like if they wanted to restore, instead of restoring the entire disk, they will be restoring from the file level. Like in this folder, C drive, D drive, so and so path, restore that file. And along with snapshot, the topic we skipped, right? That is machine images. Machine images, it is just like snapshot. Snapshot happens for the disk level. Okay, just imagine for this currently for our compute engine, only one disk is there, right? Only one disk is there. Just imagine you have 5 disks in this VM, 5 separate disks. Now we have only VM OS disk and 5 disks is there. And also we have some custom configuration and all for this, right? We have enabled HTTP, all these custom configuration. Some configurations are there, right? Firewall configuration, if you add some script. So this one, machine image, will take the entire configuration of a VM, not only disk backup, the entire backup, including the IP address and everything. This will take the machine image will take as a backup. The purpose of machine images, if you're going to do some disruptive activity for your VM, just imagine some patching or some disruptive software or some plant maintenance. If you are doing, you can take an image using machine image. So the entire configuration will be taken. You can see here. One VMs, each and every custom configuration will be backed up. So it's a large topic. Just spend some time this week, do some activities, some additional activities. As I said, this snapshot, creating a VM using snapshot, add an additional disk if you want. Create a Windows. If you are not comfortable with Linux, just create a Windows VM and do it. If you are running out of activity, just let your coordinator know. I will give you more activities also. Storage also, I have asked you to do some activities. So I'll be adding a quiz in the portal this week. So you can focus that also. So today's sessions are updated. So far whatever we discussed based on that, the 2 topics, maybe 2 topics and previous topics also, I'll be adding a quiz. Okay, I will inform the coordinator. So that is machine image. Let's see. See what all it is taken. You can see machine image SSH keys. See, when I do the SSH, it is created a key for my login. Okay, so that key details, metadata details, it is taken. You can see web VM 20 GB. All the configuration, see all the additional configuration, preemptabilities of automatic restart is on, host maintenance, everything is taken, even including the IP address. So when we restore it, if something happened to your VM, you can delete it and restore with the previous configuration, including the same IP. That's about machine image. That's the topic we skipped. So machine image, multiple disk backup is possible. Only in machine image will give these features. Single disk backup, even for the other one you can take it, but this one, differential backup. Okay, we are almost done. Some compute engine actions. You can add metadata and scripts. Okay, as I said, startup script I have already explained. Metadata where I have just showed, right? In machine image, in metadata, it will keep the SS keys and all. You can add it. Script, you can give it try, startup script. Okay, if you have any custom script to install some software, you can add while creating the VM itself. It will add that and create it. So mostly it is used for additional software which is common for all the VMs. You can move an instance from one zone, from one region. Okay, from Europe to US you can move. For that you can create a machine image. You see machine, another purpose of machine images, you can, if you want to clone one VM to another place, you can do it using a machine image. Create an image from the source VM and create from that machine image. You can change the IP address and all. Okay, even though with the machine image it will collect the details, but while creating from the machine image you have option to change it. Okay, snapshot backup we have already covered. And one more information, your snapshot backups are actually stored in the Google Cloud Storage. We can't see it. You can't really go and check in storage, but in the backend it is used Google Cloud Storage to store your snapshot. Okay, migrate data between zones. For that also you can use either machine image or snapshot. Can take a snapshot and restore it. You cannot take SSD to improve performance. Snapshot. Can we cover this? So snapshot is not available for local SSD. I already mentioned. Okay, normal SSD is possible. Local disk you cannot backup. You can schedule it. It is for backup, or also when you are creating, cloning the VM and all, you can use it. You can resize the persistent disk. If you want, you can increase the size of the disk without disturbing your operating system. You can add more storage and you can increase while the operating system is running. We're done for the day. You can answer the questions. If you guys are joining on time, we can wind up on time also. You can answer A, B, or C. You can unmute and talk, or
Is it B? I'm not quite sure.
more answers.
A. Game computer always maps to single hardware computer in rack. Okay, let's see.
Little tricky question, but it's fine. Sustained use discount.
A.
More answers,
Sustained
please.
for for specific resources.
A, B, C, D.
Sustained use.
Okay, so understand the difference between sustained and commitment. Okay, sustained use means you will be automatically getting the discount. You don't have to do anything. If you are using a VM for longer period, you are automatically getting the discount. Same time, commitment is something you are that is committed use discount, sustained and committed. Commitment is something you are already giving the commitment, like prior to the creation. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So sustained use is something automatically you're getting the discount. Understand the difference. That's why I stressed that area so much. This question.
A. D also possible.
Yeah, it is a normal discount, right?
A, B, or C. If you have any dispute about any question, you can ask like why it is like this, why it is A or D. No, I just said this can be resized after creating.
Okay.
Right, you can increase the size. If you create a 10 GB, you can make it 15, 20, 25,
Then it's A.
100. About others, more answers. Ankur, Nilakant. Okay, it's A. Okay, persistent disks are encrypted by default. Of course, not only persistent disk, any data storage is encrypted by default. Persistent disks are physical hardware devices connected directly to VM. No, these are from a storage pool. It is virtually getting assigned when you it is not, even though it is physical hardware, but not directly connected to VM. The backend it is physical disk only, but it is connected through network cables, and it is virtually logically it is virtually assigning. If you are assigning 30 GB, that 30 GB logically you are getting it. Like 30 GB disks are not adding physically to your VMs or something. It is not only HDD, you have SSD as well. Once created, it cannot be resized, not row. You can resize it. Done. Okay. So have a nice week. We will connect next week. Just do a lot of hands-on. Okay, do more hands-on. You will get a lot of insights when you are doing it. Okay, I have limitations with the amount of explanation. Always, I'll be giving a very strong base on these topics. You, if you are doing it early, you will get a better insight in all the areas. So create a VM. Take snapshots, move the VM from one to another, take a machine image and restore it. All these things you can do it. You have an additional disk apart from the existing disk. Add one disk and format it, just like how you do it in a laptop. Just to do that same thing. Sometime Windows machine creation may not be allowed in a free tier account. Okay, just check that also. You may end up on paying it.
Due to licensing, right?
Probably, yeah. Just check whether it is allowing in free trial or not. Mine is not a free trial.
Yeah, we'll check.
Mm. See you next week. Have a nice Sunday week ahead. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.